Hey, this is Eli from Inhaler, and you are listening to Radioacktiva, the Rock Planet.
Eli, welcome to Radioacktiva. How are you?
I'm very good, actually. I'm excited. We're going to Buenos Aires today from Dallas. We just finished our American tour, so um, it's exciting. Everybody's kind of feels like Christmas morning. Yeah.
And it's there's like a lot of first for Inhaler with this new record, right? I mean, you did Mexico, you're coming to South America to a few more countries, right?
Yeah, we've been to Mexico before.
Mm.
Never been to Colombia, never been to Brazil, never been to Chile, and never been to Argentina. So it's like, yeah, it's gonna be insane. Um, yeah, but I mean, we've had so many people talk to us from those countries for years, um, asking like, when are you coming? When are you coming? So it's just nice to finally be able to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm glad here at
yeah,
Radioactiva, we've been tracking the band down for quite a while, ever since Ice Cream Sunday. Love that track,
a long time
from
ago.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's still a great track, So,
thank you.
just tell me a bit about this new record. There's a clear evolution. I want to know where's the band aiming with their sound, the musicality of everything, the gospel chorus and songs like
Mm.
Your House, or even All I Got Is You. When I listen to that track, I think of the Smiths a bit. So just, lots to cover. Tell me about
Oh.
what's in your mind when it comes to this new record.
Um, I think the thing that started it all is obviously um we wanted to keep touring, so that's always the kind of good motivator to make an album. But I think we wanted to try a different approach with a different producer, and we had heard that Kid Harpoon, who did like Harry Styles and the last Kings of Leon album, uh kind of like the band, so we thought, hey, let's reach out to him and see if he'd be interested. Like it felt like a long shot though, because he's working with like, you know, just everybody that is
Hmm.
right now. So, but we had a call with him, and he was just like he could have been in the band genuinely. We got on so well. He made us laugh, and that was quite an important, I think, entryway in, because we had a producer for a lot of years where he kind of became like our uncle, because we went in when we were 18, and it was like more spiritual and moral advice than it was like, you know he's a producer. It became a bigger role than a producer. So for this one we were nervous, and Tom being funny and just fitting in well really really relaxed us. But I think with the Sonics, we wanted to just like have a fresh palette, and because on the first two albums they're so sonically full, and like there's a lot going on. I think on this one we wanted to just sort of like streamline it a bit and make it more aerodynamic. And Kid Harpoon was really good at that.
Yeah, he did a great job.
Mm.
Do you think, like, he had a big effect on the sound of the band? Because if I recall properly, the previous producer for Inhaler, he worked with bands like Pulp, right? So, you kind of sense something there when you listen to those records.
Mm.
But Kid
That's
Harpoon has,
interesting. Yeah.
a different a
Yeah.
different view. He worked with Florence and the Machine too. So,
Yes.
sonically, it feels wider.
Yeah. Yeah, it does feel, it's like there's less information in it, but what is there feels bigger. And that was kind of the goal. I think, yeah, like it was great because we have a tendency to overwork things in the studio and not want to let things go. And Kid Harpoon's kind of whole mentality is like, like if it sounds good on the demo, like don't stress about it. Just let that be what it is, your first instinct. And so that kind of became the whole mantra for the album, was just like following the first instinct and like fleshing it out, and not overthinking things too much, within reason. But yeah, that was kind of, yeah, and then the title came from that, and it all kind of fell together then once we started to do that. But it was great. We didn't fight at all. So it was a peaceful album to make.
Cool.
Yeah.
Look, you mentioned overworking and overthinking. I've always said that, you know, us journalists are used to overthink about music. And when I heard that the new record was going to be called Open Wide, to me it was like a sequence. You know, it's a great title for a first record. It
Mm.
won't always be like this because effectively things will always be like the first record.
Yeah.
And then Cuts
Yeah.
and Bruises is like the second track, the second
Yeah.
album. You've already traveled, done your shows, learn a few things. So now you open wide.
Hmm. Yeah. That's
Does
what it felt
does it
like.
does it
Yeah.
make any sense at all?
I think to us it did. I think we were kind of put in a very with the first two albums we were just very like it didn't feel like we had a break in between recording them. So it was uh it was sort of just like album one and a half, you know. Whereas this album felt like we were making a project, and it was just the title of the song, Open Wide, and then towards the end, someone it just kind of kept coming back, and we were like, yeah, I think that sounds like it. So a lot of people have said it sounds like an album for dentists, which I think is funny.
I love the song the Open Wide. There's this line on the album that says, "When you are cruel to the violent thoughts in your head." Like, could you tell me a bit about that song? I really, you know, it really caught my attention, that particular line. And I know that arts and music is something that you're supposed to, you know, put a meaning by each person and all that as a consumer, as a listener. But you know, it just caught my attention. It just gave me, you know, a different perspective, you know, being cruel
Hmm.
to the violent thoughts inside my head.
I don't know. To me, that line kind of feels like if there's a bit of like there's like some angst there. It doesn't feel. This sounds like it should scan as like a nice line, but it's quite like self-harming, that line. I feel like it's quite it's yeah. So I don't know that song. Like I remember when Tom heard it, he said like it sounds like he's like I don't know what you wrote it about, but he was like to me it sounds like um you're like telling somebody not to jump, or like like telling somebody that you love them. Um, that's what it felt like to him. So I just kind of I rolled with that. But honestly, a lot of the times when I sing stuff, there may be a vague idea of what I want to talk about in my head, but it's I sing like whatever comes out of my mouth. And then you look back retrospectively at it and you go, oh, I was actually saying something there. It's weird, like because I read a lot about Brian Wilson, who used to do that. He just used to sing like vowels and stuff that would come out, and then he'd listen to it the next day and be like, "Oh, I was making sense." Like 70% of it might not make sense, but 30% is like some real truth that he maybe wasn't thinking, or he wouldn't have said, but he was thinking. So that song was a lot of that. There was a lot of, but I think through doing that, it kind of sketched out a sort of yeah, I think it's just a love letter, really. I think to yourself. Um, so yeah, trying to tell you to kind of get out of your own head a little bit.
Okay. So you're a big Brian Wilson fan?
Yes, yes. Well, I wouldn't say like I don't have his poster on my wall, but uh, yeah, love the Beach Boys.
Um, what were you listening to when it comes to creating this third record for Inhaler? What was on your head musically? Like what was around?
Oh, weirdly, this is gonna be bizarre, but the Deftones. Um, listening to a lot of the Deftones at the time. Um, and also, who's that other one? I think it was just mainly Deftones, Alice in Chains, like a lot of more heavy stuff. That I used to listen to Alice in Chains when we started the band. Like me and Ryan were like big, kind of like we started off with like metal, and then and then grunge, and like we really went like he had the long hair and the Iron Maiden t-shirt and everything. So I was going back to a bit of that for some reason. I don't know why. Uh,
Really?
just listening to a lot of like more heavy guitar stuff. Yeah.
But it's it's interesting because like when I listen to the record, I wouldn't believe that you were listening to Deftones or
Oh
Alice
yeah,
in
no,
Chains
yeah.
or all those.
Yeah.
y-
Yeah, it's
I
bizarre. I
would.
don't know. Yeah. It's like the opposite of like it's crazy. But I think maybe I was like I don't know. Sometimes like I think when we're recording, like working on an album, I find it hard to go back home and listen to music that seems like that's from the same genre, like it's just like you're just like, your head's like buzzing with stuff. So maybe I was just trying to listen to stuff that didn't sound like us. I don't know. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, we
Who
always everyone listens to like such different stuff in the band.
That's cool. There's a song I really like. I'll ask you ahead of it because I think it has like three different bands put together in one song. But before I get there, who did the A Question of You video? I love it.
Oh yeah. It's this kind of it's a group of guys. I'd have to get their exact names. They're really, really smart, two guys, and they're called Waxwork. They're like they kind of just direct films together. They're like a team. Um, they're really smart. And there's a girl on the label called Emily Jeffrey who kind of pulled it together. Um, and she's amazing. And yeah, and then it's Robert's little brother in the video. The kid who goes up to buy the ring is
Uh-huh.
the bass player's young brother. Yeah, which was always cute because we also named one of the other songs in the album a song called Billy after his other younger brother. So it was like, yeah, I don't know why we did that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about the Your House video? I like that. And there's a shot of the girl where she has this briefcase, right? And there's a shot of the girl. I think she's maybe in the subway. I can't recall. She grabs the bag, and there's the shot that it makes you think like she's gonna release him. He really loves him,
Mm,
even though she's hating him with that. She's gonna
yeah.
release him, and right at the end, she just throws you in the sea, into the sea.
Yeah. We did want
Um,
to, yeah. At one point, we did want to put in a shot of me like crawling out of the East River soaking wet, but it didn't really make the shot list. Didn't want to do that. Yeah.
but
That was, yeah. Sorry, go on.
no, no, no. Please keep going.
I was just gonna say, yeah, it was I cracked my rib filming that video because it was like they had to build a like a massive cradle for that suitcase. Like they built, obviously, I didn't fit inside that suitcase, contrary to popular belief. Um, but yeah, so then we was just kind of rolling around and yeah, I ended up cracking my rib, but it was all worth it because it was a great video, and yeah, Yovan directed that. He was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that because it's like a simple video. Like you don't have this huge scenery or something. It's just a simple story.
Yeah,
It's in the
yeah,
bag. She
yeah.
kind of
That's it.
doubts, and
Yeah. I also feel like people don't really have like an attention span for long drawn out narratives and music videos. I think they just want like something to feel visually like there's a spark there and they can kind of it's like a hook almost like um so that one worked out really well for us. We really liked it. It's fun.
uh, I just remember the song I wanted to ask you about. All I Got Is You is one of my favorite tracks from the
Oh,
record.
thank you.
It starts with the bass line and all that, and like right around the middle. I'm not a musician though, so I'm gonna try to explain something here.
Mm.
Right in the middle, what you are used to listen to the bass doing through the song, now it changed to the guitar. So
Yeah.
it was like, wow, I wasn't expecting that. So it kind of gives you a different vibe, and I really like
Yeah.
that. So I don't know if that's somehow related with you guys listening to Alice in Chains or something like that.
Maybe, yeah. Well, that was the thing
Because
that blew my mind was like going in because I remember I think I don't can't remember exactly because it wasn't on the demo that bit and then we did it in the studio. I think Rob was messing around with some bass like sounds and then that turned on and we were all like, "Oh, you need to record that." And he came up with that little run on the bass and it became the whole section. Um but it was kind of like Kid Harpoon who spurred it on. Like he was kind of being more rock and roll than like we were because we were being more pop and he was trying to do like rock. So then, but like he's obsessed with the Deftones and like all the guitar effects and he works with like Harry Styles, you know? So it's like we were like laughing, being like, this is hilarious. Like he's actually just like an indie kid, you know? And like, yeah, so he was really he's really trying to push that kind of guitar, heavy guitar sound. And even on some stuff on the vocals, like the vocal is quite like it's not the clearest sounding vocal on this album, which I like. It sounds like a bit messed up and a bit digital and like
Mm.
it's good. I like it. So yeah, that would be Kid Harpoon, um, for sure. And Bobby Skeets, on that bit. That was great. That's one of my favorite bits of the album too. I really like that.
I Yeah, I really, really like that song. Now that you were, talking about the Deftones and pop and rock and Harry Styles, I don't think like in this day and age we can or even we should like tag music like this is this or that because it's just everything has
It's just
changed so
music.
much, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
there's no like even from my parents like telling me when they were kids and everybody was a punk, you'd walk around and you'd know what group you'd fit into by like the color of the jacket you were wearing. Like if you were wearing
Mm.
leather or like fur, or like people would literally hold their vinyl albums like under their arm and like walk around with them so you knew what they were into. Like it was that tribal, and I feel like these days I think people just listen because Spotify is like I guess the main form of like consuming music. It's all song based. It's like you click shuffle and it just goes and you listen to songs. So I think that's kind of allowed us to be a lot more free with our music and not like worry about. We want to be every genre sometimes, you know, like we're just jealous of everyone.
But
Yeah.
when you go to the concerts, what kind of kids do you see? Like more Harry Styles or Deftones?
It's that's well, definitely more Harry Styles, Deftones, yeah. But I don't know, it's different. It's different and it'll be interesting to kind of like to go around South America and see in each country like how the demographic is different because in the UK for us there's a lot more guys there who like want to like mosh, and in America it's like definitely there's a lot more kind of females with cowboy hats and like there are guys there but they're more to the back. Yeah, so it's like it's different around the world, which is so interesting to us. I don't know why that is, but we definitely like I think with the kind of different people that we've supported, we've picked up a very bizarre kind of hodgepodge of different fans around the place. So and that's one thing I'm really proud of. Like I think our gigs are a very diverse like ecosystem of, you know, older geezers who are like into U2 or like teenage girls who've never been to a concert before but love like, you know what I mean? It's um it's a really exciting thing for us to be able to do, you know.
Cool. I'm gonna do my best to be there at the show, at the Stereo Picnic.
Oh, great.
Um, how did yeah, I can't miss the band, but sometimes when you're working at the festival, you're running all over the place, and you
Oh,
get
yeah.
yeah. Sometimes I just miss a few
I'm
shows
glad I'm
because
not
I'm
doing
doing an
that.
interview or something. But
Oh,
I'm
it's all
really
good.
looking forward
Don't
to
worry.
see you guys and Kiwanuka. Also, I've never seen him, so I'm
Yes.
really looking forward to see him too.
I would say see
How,
Kuanuka over us. If you have to make a decision there, Kuanuka is he's like a yeah, he's a god. Yeah.
I'm gonna share something with you. I went to Glastonbury like 2 years ago, 3 years ago before the pandemic, and I'd never been to Glastonbury before. That was my
Uh,
one and probably only time. And Kiwanuka was playing, but I had no idea like how big was Glastonbury. So I was absolutely sure that I could just get there
yeah.
to see him. And I
Yeah.
was like on the pyramid stage. I think I was
Oh my
watching
God.
Lauryn Hill or something like that.
Yeah.
And Kiwanuka was mountain like in this stage that's near the Glastonbury sign.
Yeah,
So
it'll
I
take you like 3 hours.
I couldn't make it, of course. I couldn't make it, and it was like one of the big regrets of my life. Just like so I'm really looking
Man.
forward to that show. They're letting me know that we just have like a few a few minutes, so I'm just going to ask you two
Okay,
more things, okay?
no
Just
problem.
very brief.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love the chorus on Your House, the gospel choir there. How did it end up on the song? How did you guys decided to put that into the song? It gives it, a very special vibe.
Yeah, yeah. I think we were just kind of that song was like it was kind of the last to be finished on the album. You're talking about Your House, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Um, that was the last one to be kind of finished properly, and we were kind of working on it, and I think Tom just said like, I think I've gotten like an idea, but it might be crazy. Like I don't know. Like I'll get back to you in a couple of days. I'm gonna try and work something out, and then I'll get back to you. So then a couple of days later, he was like, "Yeah, I think we should put like a gospel choir on this song." Like, and not like, because I was like, I really didn't like the idea at first. I was like, that doesn't feel like. I feel like that feels like something you do on like your 10th album, not your third album. Like I was like, oh, that doesn't feel right. But he was like, no, like we're in Rack Studios in London. It's like where all those bands used to record in the 70s, like Slade and all that kind of stuff, like T-Rex. I'm not sure if they recorded there, but it was that he was selling to me that kind of thing. And I was like, oh, I do love T-Rex. And he was like, let's just try it and we don't have to put it on everything. And then they came in and I just like fell in love with it. And we all did. And we were all like, yeah, this feels right. And I think once everybody was kind of on board with it, it was just no going back. And yeah, it does make it feel like I thought to me what made it important was like when I played my mum that song, she was like, because she goes to church and everything, she was like, oh, you're singing about God's house. And I was like, no, but I do like that you've taken that from it. Like to me, it's like a sleazy song about like just fancying a girl and the girl's not into you. But like um to her it was like this completely other thing that meant so much to her. So that was like a kind of big reason as to why it kind of kept on the album. And you know, not that we're like massive like religious people or anything. I think we all have our own ways of going about it, and we didn't want it to be like a religious type chorus or like choir, but um, it just gave like the album a sort of identity that we hadn't had before, and I think that we really enjoyed listening to. So yeah, that's why it happened. But at the beginning, I was really not into the idea on the
Well,
record. Yeah,
it was the right choice. I think it's a
good.
beautiful song.